Hello my darlings, and welcome to a day in the life of a witchy content creator. In this video, I'll take you along with me during my day and show you some of my routines. I'll share how I use sigil magic to make sure I communicate clearly, how I use new moon energy to plan my content, and how I work with deities. And at the end, I share a simple self-love practice that you can do every day. Let's do some magical crafting. This video is a collaboration with 5 other witchy content creators. We chose several topics to talk about in our videos, including being a witchy content creator, deity work, sigil magic, self-love, and using moon phases in magic. I'll let the other creators introduce themselves.
My name is Heather Lynn. I am the Green Forest Witch, and you can find me at my channel, The Wild Forest Witchery.
My name is Ivy. I am the Occultist on YouTube and on Instagram. My video will be focused on a spell to improve psychic abilities using a mega sigil with a chaos magic flare.
My name is Aurora, and I'm over at Lavender Hazelwood Witches. I'll be showing you how to use and make a moon calendar for magical purposes.
Hi, I'm Panthera, and my channel is Panthera the Feralwood Witch. For the collab, I'll be doing a confidence spell for content creators. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Bente, I'm the Norse Witch, and in this video collab, I will show you how to cast a very easy, beginner-friendly self-love spell.
Good morning. This is how I start my day. After feeding the crows, I make the bed and put on some walking shoes. I make a thermos of coffee and head out to the lake. As a solo content creator, my work days can often feel overscheduled and chaotic. They're extremely busy and often quite long. As you might imagine, I spend most of my day seated at a desk, writing scripts, recording voiceover, live streaming, or filming content. Add to that editing videos, creating graphics, and posting on social media. The most important part of my day is not part of my workday at all. It's my morning trip to the lake. It's my chance to do a lot of things that are important to me before I begin a long day of sitting. First, it's an opportunity for me to spend time in nature. This is an activity I draw a lot of energy from, and I store it. And I use that energy throughout the day. It also gets me out into the sunshine each day. Before I began walking at the lake, I would spend days without ever spending time in the sun and soaking up those uplifting rays. Second, it's an opportunity to spend time walking and getting some movement into my day. If I skip my trip to the lake, my pedometer tells me that I have a very sedentary day with very few steps. Third, it's an opportunity to think without distraction. I often use my walks as moving meditations and focus on a topic that I need clarity on. And after my walk, I spend time at my favorite shaded benches. This is where I can spend time with a journal or a sketch pad and a cup of coffee. Sometimes I bring my tarot or oracle cards and my tarot journal and pull a few cards to start my day. Welcome to my secret little island. This is my favorite place to spend my mornings with the ducks and the egrets and the dragonflies. The geese and crows are always calling to each other. It is a new moon, so I'd like to share the ways I use this lunar phase each month. During the new moon, there are several traditional activities that you can do. It's a time to do any banishing work that needs to get done. This can be a good time to rid yourself of a bad habit. There are several ways I bring the magic of the new moon into my work as a content creator. The new moon is a good time to do shadow work, and this is most often when my shadow work journal comes out. This month, my topic is to reflect on how I can be a more authentic person in my creator persona. My process to do this is by journaling on what is important to me and to have a discussion with myself about whether being authentic is a core value for me or not. Sometimes it's easier to listen to the voices of others rather than your own voice. I want to be both open to change and also to be at peace with the things that I may not want to change, and to be able to easily discern between the two. Shadow work helps me listen to myself and sort through my emotions. Sometimes authenticity is recognizing your own desires apart from what social media is telling you that you should want or that you should do. My absolute favorite way to use new moon energy is to plan out a goal or a project. This is the time that I set my intentions and plan out the steps to get me where I want to be. I'm using this new moon to plan out the website for my magical crafting retreat. My goal is to communicate the offerings of the event as clearly as possible with as much detail as possible. There's so much information to include about the location, travel, meals, and of course all of the crafting projects to be enjoyed throughout the retreat. One of my biggest goals with the website is to make it clear that you do not have to be an artist or master crafter to attend, and that people with any level of skill will have fun at the event. Back at home, it's almost time to start my workday. Just a few more morning routine tasks to complete first. Near the entrance to my home, I have an eclectic little shrine to the goddesses Lakshmi and Kuan Yin. As a way of honoring these archetypes of compassion, good fortune, beauty, and luck, I place golden coins in a bowl. And I light jasmine incense at the altar as well. In my office, I have a shrine to Ganesha. As an offering, I place a shortbread cookie in a small dish inside this shrine. I also light an orange candle. And as a final offering, I light a tea light candle to warm up a wax warmer and place several drops of sweet floral essential oils into it as a smoke offering. I thank Ganesha for sharing his gifts of creativity and removing obstacles. I start my workday at 10 a.m. and usually grind through tasks until it's time to stop and make dinner at 7:30. Here's a quick look at my office. This desk is where I record audio and film my videos. I have a project set up for filming today, and I'm checking the placement of the items on the monitor. I also like to watch or listen to other inspiring witchy content while I film, so I usually have some videos playing on the second monitor or a podcast going. And this is the desk where I spend the majority of my time. I keep a labradorite stone and a small Ganesha statue near my monitors. Most of my day is not very exciting to share. I spend the majority of my time working on graphics needed for thumbnails, live streams, and social media posts. I also interact with my patrons a lot. I upload printables several times a month. Today, I'm working on a post for my October printable planner stickers. I like to upload the planner stickers a day before the Plan With Me video comes out, so my next task is to work on editing that Plan With Me video, which will likely take me the rest of the day and into the night. At 12:30, I'll take a lunch break. I usually throw together a salad. I prepare the ingredients ahead of time so I can usually prep lunch in about 5 minutes. Then I take an hour lunch break with a friend and we watch esports together as we eat. Planning a lunch break with a friend keeps me accountable to taking a break. Otherwise, I would likely not eat and work right through lunch. After lunch, it's back to editing the video, and later that evening, it's time to record the voiceover audio track. I'm constantly communicating with my audience through all manner of visual arts. I'm filming and editing video, writing and recording voiceover. I'm creating Book of Shadows pages and recipes, journaling prompts, and artwork for my patrons. I'm live streaming twice a month and posting on social media several times a week, so it's important for me to communicate clearly. And so I decided to use some sigil magic to help me communicate clearly. I wrote out my intent in a positive and immediate sentence, crossed out all of the vowels, and began making a list of all the consonants that remained. Any consonants that are repeated are ignored. I'm left with CMNTLRY, and I'll create my sigil with the shapes of these letters. I begin with the C, turning it sideways, then drew the letter T underneath. The letter L sticks up out of the C. Then I add the letter M upside down in the center. The Y goes under the T. This leaves me with 2 letters left, the R and the N. I've decided to break them down into their composite shapes and place those shapes in the sigil. I like to keep my sigils as symmetrical as possible, and I dislike having a random and obvious letter R sticking out on the side. After adding the final shapes to the sigil, I have my final outcome, which I think came out looking a lot like a cell tower, to be honest. The next step is to put the sigil into my phone case. I'm drawing it on with a white chalk marker. However, you could place a piece of paper with the sigil into your case as well. As I draw the sigil, I envision all of my communications being clear and not causing any confusion. I imagine people nodding and smiling and saying, "I understand," or "You explain things so clearly," or "I never thought of it that way, that makes sense." I envision my sigil being charged every time I charge my cell phone battery. I promise to share a simple self-love practice that you can do every day at the end of this video. This is how I like to practice a self-love routine using scent to trigger a loving mental state and positive brain chemistry. Once a day, usually in the morning, I repeat a series of self-love affirmations while applying a specific scent. In my case, I use a combination of amber and patchouli. I say, "I am magical. I am powerful. I am worthy of love from myself and others. I am intelligent and focused. I am creating the life that I want. I can be whatever I want to be. Over time, this specific scent has become associated with these affirmations. Anytime I need to lift my spirits or I'm feeling down, I can use this scent to change my brain chemistry to a more self-loving frame of mind. It takes several weeks of repetition to create this result. If you'd like to download a free printable of these affirmations, I'll leave a link in the description below.